We should go back to a position in the filibuster that existed just when I came to the United States Senate 120 years ago. So the best way to get something done, if you hold near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway, I want to get things done. I want to get them done. The best way to get something done, if you hold near and dear to you that you, anyway, I want to get things done. I want to get them done. The best way to get something done, if you hold near and dear to you that you, anyway. I have never been particularly poor at calculating how to get things done. People's lives are changing, so let's see what happens. All I know, I've been hired to solve problems. What we do, there's no easy answer. I don't even think about it. I have no idea. Oh, come on, I don't know, to be clear. What are we doing? And by the way, here's the deal. If you like to be able to, well, I'm good. Look. Anyway, I want to get things done. I want to get them done. The best way to get something done, if you hold near and dear to you that you, anyway, I want to get things done. I want to get them done. The best way to get something done, if you hold near and dear to you that you, anyway. I don't know where you guys come from, man. I've never been able to plan 3.5 years ahead. And here's the deal. Help is here and hope is on the way. Well, look, I guess I should be flattered. People are coming because I'm the nice guy. And I'd like to think it's because I'm a nice guy, but it's not. It's because of what's happened every year. Let me say one other thing on this. Okay, where am I here? Let me see. Anyway, I want to get things done. I want to get them done. The best way to get something done, if you hold near and dear to you that you, anyway, I want to get things done. I want to get them done. The best way to get something done, if you hold near and dear to you that you, anyway.
Good afternoon or good evening, and welcome to the Vanguard. For Spike.
You didn't do a name.
I didn't do a name. Sasha Cohen's spouse.
Okay.
Cohen.
All right. No, that's a great comic book name.
I am Matt Wright. And together we are traversing the muddied waters of freedom.
Folks, thanks so much for tuning in. And be sure to like and comment and subscribe and share and press the bell on YouTube and do all of the things that show engagement so that we can continue doing this, not just with you, but a bunch of other people too. People we don't even know yet, but we get to know them together. We can make friends. Go, share, like, subscribe, comment, do all of the things. And thank you so much for tuning into this Muddy Waters Media presentation.
Production.
It's also a presentation. It's more of a production.
It is.
Think about it.
When it's us, it's a production.
It's a production.
It's definitely a production.
We're presenting it to you, but it is being produced.
Very true.
Thanks so much for tuning in.
First and foremost, allow me to thank the fine people at siestacava.com for the cava that I'm drinking on today's episode.
And allow me to thank Le Bleu, purified, ultra pure, natural water. I don't think it's natural, actually. I think they make it in a water here. It's very good. It's 11% hydrogen and 89% oxygen. And I am embarrassed to admit that I'm not sure if that's exclusive to them or if that's all water. But it says that. It's very clear that that's what it is.
How would
Ulavanaka.
Ulavanaka.
Well, yeah, H2O would be like 66%.
And 33.
It's special water. It's got they're boosting the oxygen.
Water anymore. That's like H3O.
Or half a H30. Yeah, no, that's like H40. No, wait, 11 8. That's like H90.
Yeah,
I'm probably doing that wrong.
probably, but that's why we talk politics instead of doing that.
This is not a science show at all. Anyway, yes, this is GMO water, Connor. This is GMO water. Delicious GMO water. The first, well, no, you did the first and foremost. Second and secondly most, this episode, of course, is brought to you, as always, by the Libertarian Party Waffle House Caucus, the fastest growing waffle-related caucus in this or any other party in this godforsaken country of ours. Really, any country.
Probably
Have any.
yeah.
And on the entire planet. This episode, of course, is also brought to you by the Gravy King. This episode is brought to you by Nug of Knowledge, smokable CBD products. Nug of Knowledge is not your everyday CBD supplier because they're selling weed. And it also is a bit of the proceeds go to help fight the war on drugs, because this is weed. And it also, they have a medicinal compassionate use program where they give their products to veterans and people who cannot afford their weed. And many people who use it say that it helps with inflammation, joint pain, or just a much needed pick-me-up, because it's weed. And if you want to buy some weed on the internet, go to nugofknowledge.com and be sure to use checkout code SPIKE for your weed. Oh, man. And get 10% off today. And, of course, this episode is brought to you by Joe Solosky for governor of Pennsylvania. Joe Solosky is the key to Pennsylvania's success. And if you want to help him in his run as a libertarian for governor of Pennsylvania, go to Joe Solosky. That's JoeSoloski. I practiced that. .com. And you can help him today. In this episode, and I can now talk about it, is brought to you by Mud Water. It's actually good. I've tried it, and it's actually not terrible. It is not terrible.
It is not terrible. And again, if you add some honey, it's pretty tasty.
It's actually good. Yeah, I've been putting honey in it, and it comes with a little frother thing, which definitely underfill the cup, because you were going to get it everywhere. That water is, that thing is like, you could power a small boat with that, man. Holy hell. You want to stir some crap. So not only do you get some mud water, but when you buy your starter pack by going to muddywatersmedia.com/mud, you get a small boat engine with a little thing attached. They call it a stirrer, but goodness, I never needed to stir anything that intensely in my entire wretched life. But you can.
And I just want to say, my frother broke after one use. But the customer service at Mudwater, so fantastic that I emailed them about it, and they said, "Oh, well, we will ship you a new one right now." And
if you break the first one, they actually send you a fan attached to a Corvette engine, which has roughly the same torque. That thing is intense. I'm pretty sure it was designed by Tesla. And it is kind of scary. It's very quiet, but it creates tiny cyclones in your cup. I don't know why I'm so focused on the frother. I think I was just surprised, because I'm like, oh yeah, the little stirrer. I've used these before, and it, like, most of the water left the cup because I filled it to like 2/3. I didn't think it would be like that. But anyway, the coffee alternative is good. Guys, if you were waking up today and say, my God, I am sick of coffee. I want mushrooms in the morning. I want neuroprotective mushrooms and a chai tea, a masala chai tea. Maybe a little bit of turmeric and some sea salt and cinnamon, and that's it. That's all I want. I want to stir it up like a madman early in the morning. Then what you do is, we have great news for you. Go to muddywatersmedia.com/mud and get yourself some mud water today. I am hyped up about this. And yes, it does have caffeine in it.
Yeah, about one.
Also, Chris Reynolds, if anyone has hurt you in Florida, then let me back up a little bit. Our other sponsor is personal injury attorney Chris Reynolds, attorney at law. If you find yourself injured personally in the state of Florida, then I have some fantastic news for you. Well, I mean, I have some decent news for you. I have a good consolation to that, which is that you can get money by suing them for doing that to you, whatever they did. And I hate that someone would do that to you. But If you go to chrisreynoldslaw.com, Chris can get you just so much money. Like, it's stupid how much money that man will get you. You're going to be glad that you got personally injured after you deal with Chris.
The stimulus is nothing. Any stimulus.
Yeah, you want to talk about stimulus? Have someone hurt you in Florida, and then get in touch with Chris, and you will be stimulusolated hard.
Yeah, you will definitely be stimulated.
Stimulated. You know what I'm talking about.
So hard.
So hard.
So
by Chris
hard.
Reynolds. ChrisReynoldsLaw.com.
Will stimulusate the crap out of you.
Your stimuli will be so stimulated you don't even know. ChrisReynoldsLaw.com.
ChrisReynoldsLaw.com.
Matt? Speaking of stimulated, we'll do that. Speaking of stimulated, I found myself stimulated with rage and anger watching something that happened in Carthage, Tennessee, Matt, where in the Carthage City Council, an absolute outrage happened where a libertarian councilman tried to actually do the work of the people, and we're going to find out what happened when he tried to do that. Our guest tonight, our first guest tonight, we have two guests tonight because we're a fancy show. Our first guest tonight is the Libertarian Council member of the Carthage, Tennessee City Council, and he will definitely need to unmute his mic, and his name is, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, the fabulous, amazing, my friend and yours, Councilman Cole Ebel. Cole, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. My message today is brought to you by Tennessee Hemp Pharmacy.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I put my dark, murky, psychotic stimulant called coffee into this mug every morning and take it around with me. So I figured I'd give a shout out to a person I distribute for.
Nice. And what's their website?
They're Tennessee Hemp Pharmacy, but I've got a cannabis company called Cumberland Cannabis, and it's CumberlandCannabisCo.com. If you're interested in buying any Tennessee Hemp Pharmacy products or any other Tennessee cannabis products.
CumberlandCannabisCo.com. And we have some fantastic alliteration to go on with that, because Cole is also the councilman of the Carthage Council, where he was kicked out on his keister for trying to cut costs. Can you tell us about that, Cole?
I absolutely can. So I'll try to summarize this as best as I can. We've got a city council. It consists of 6 members plus a mayor, and new business came along. And so, or actually it was old business came along. And the First Amendment, their first resolution I was trying to introduce was to abolish our building inspection fees. Basically, a couple months ago, we were working on a project through an organization I'm involved with called the American Legion, basically on giving flag education and hanging up flags on Main Street. And we found out if you want to hang a flag on Main Street, you had to pay a $50 fee to put that bracket on. So,
wait, per flag?
Yes, per flag. Not
for
kidding.
God's sake.
On your business?
On my building, because it overhangs Main Street and anyone else's building who overhangs Main Street. So that being said, I looked and I saw, hey, you know what? We're coming in at $6 million in the bank on a $1.5 million a year budget, and we're basically going over our revenue projections by $1.1 million every single year. We collect $6,000 in building inspection fees. The city should pay for that. So that was my first resolution. That resolution, no one got to hear what it was about because they had determined that I had to make a motion first, and I was not allowed to explain what the resolution was. By the way, down the line, there was another resolution in order to put resolutions out to the public so that they can actually read and understand what's going on, which the public has no information on this, by the way. So that got shot down for lack of a second. And I did notice a lot of the other city council members nodding, winking at each other. You can watch the video yourself. I'm sure you've got a link. So my second one was even better. With all the gun control and all the crap going on the federal level, I figured that, hey, you know what? We need a sanctuary city for the Second Amendment. We need to get out there and make sure that we don't abide by any federal gun laws, that the Second Amendment is clear, it's written how it is, and that's exactly where we need to be. So I started to introduce that, knowing that I wasn't going to get a second. I started to read out everything in the resolution, and I was met with a gavel and a gavel and a gavel. I am out of order. I'm out of order. Where I'm introducing a resolution, I've got the floor. I have no time limit whatsoever. I'm allowed to introduce this resolution because guess what? The public doesn't know what it is, and it's called transparency. So with that gavel, I was told I only get 2 minutes to do it, even though I was at 1 minute and 50 seconds. Cool, fine. Didn't pass for lack of a second. Everybody wink, wink, nod, nod, Cole, the libertarians here. So the third one was my favorite, and I've been working on this for about 3 years. And I did a little bit of study, and I worked with numbers and calculators and budgets, and I got an entire wall filled with clipboards of all this stuff. After being denied for 2 years access to the budget, I finally got with John Poole, which is our city auditor, and got the numbers myself. Found out that, hey, we could lower property taxes by 50%, not to mention we could lower them by 100% and still have 6 figures over projected revenue in the bank. But I was just going for 50% because, hey, that's a radical notion. And I didn't even get 16 seconds in before the gavel dropped, and I was forcefully removed from the city council meeting.
So wait a second. Where is this money coming from that you could literally eliminate property taxes and stuff? Is it like sales taxes? Where's the money coming from?
So Tennessee has some great taxes. No, I don't say great taxes, but we have a lot of low or no taxes across the board. We have lower property taxes compared to the rest of the state, but we do have the highest sales tax rate. So, and I know there's differences. Oh, go ahead.
I used to live in Tennessee. I lived in Davidson County. I think
Can't do with our firearms.
The council, or sorry, the tax rate, the sales tax rate was 11.
It's 9.75.
9.75. Okay.
So it's pretty high, but and there are certain things. Obviously, I don't believe in any taxes, but again, I'm trying to step approach.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Where we're going. And I feel like, property taxes is a feudalistic tax. We don't need a feudalistic tax. We own our property. We should not have to pay taxes on it year after year after year. Additionally, it stimulates the economy and stimulates your home prices if your property taxes are lowered, especially in a county where everyone is moving to, because we just have a lot more freedom out there. And if we want our property taxes or property values to go up, property taxes is the way to dropping those will definitely increase them. So we're going against that. We have a huge sales tax revenue, but people will, shop locally, reinvest it. And I feel like we'd actually have a higher tax revenue off of that to lower property taxes more. Again, this is about sustainability. I wasn't allowed to explain any of that to anyone on the council. It was just a complete ego trip. It was completely talking out of one side of their mouth, out the other side of their mouth. We want to be respectful, but yet we don't want to have a discussion. We want to literally forcefully remove someone who's representing their constituents, who had the largest vote count in the entire city council, who got elected, and is on the only member of the planning commission that's been elected to the planning commission. So again, it's just silencing a voice that was completely done illegally.
And I was going to say, to be clear, this was illegal. You were following. I mean, you never try to challenge a libertarian on Robert's Rules of Order. You were obeying the rules of the council of how to do things. They're the ones that were out of order. I'm actually going to play this video. Unfortunately, you and Matt won't be able to hear it, but I and everyone else will, and I guess that's what really matters. And of course, Cole, you've already heard it because you were there, and Matt, you listened to it. This is actually what happened when Cole tried to get rid of fees that impacted, among others, veterans who wanted to put up flags and get charged $50 per pop for putting up brackets for a flag. Get rid of, or at least reduce by 50% property taxes and make the city of Carthage into a Second Amendment sanctuary state to protect your right to keep and bear arms. This is how the Carthage City Council, led by Mayor Sarah Smith, responded to that.
Can't do with our firearms, which is going on right now in this country.
Okay, we have a motion.
We have a
We have a motion to adopt this resolution that has just presented for sanctuary city and the rest of this resolution. Do I hear a second to this motion? All right, it has no section, so it's seconds, guys. For lack of a second, we'll move on.
Brought to you by Smith County Animal Control.
The next item in the business is property tax resolution. Do I hear a motion?
Yes, I have a motion, and I'd like to, hang on a second. I have a resolution directing the CMFO, motion to adopt the resolution directing the CMFO to report a draft budget ordinance with the revenue projections based on a 50% reduction in property taxes for the town of Carthage, Tennessee for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2021. Whereas the town of Carthage,
the motion has been made.
Whereas the town of Carthage, you're interrupting. Do I get 2 minutes or not?
Sir, they can read the motion. They can read it themselves, the resolution.
I'd like to finish my motion, Mayor. You are out of line. In the middle of giving reasons of the motion, which is in here.
These people are all adults. They can read this, please.
2 minutes is going to be up.
But I didn't even get to 20 seconds.
Would you just please make the motion, then you can speak to it all you want. That's the way it works.
I'm in the middle of explaining the motion because, unlike other things, I will do this.
This is not a civil meeting.
It is not a civil meeting at all.
So either the person that's out of order needs to be removed or the council needs to leave.
Would you please remove, sir, police chief, would you please remove?
So now
Councilman
they're
who's been out of
illegally
order?
removing Cole
Continuously.
from the meeting.
It's legal, they're asking you to leave, so you're gonna have to leave. Sorry.
Well, I proudly will leave defending the Second Amendment and trying to cut a 50% property tax rate and being interrupted on my motion because I did have the floor and I am in order. You are out of order. So if this is how we're going to bully, you can't keep me quiet with Robert's Rules of Order, you can't keep whatever, that's fine. I'm for it. But this has definitely not been civilized. We have not had a good discussion here whatsoever. It has not been good. This is politics. Y'all have a wonderful night.
So this is what happens when there's only one libertarian on the council, is that you have one person that's fighting for the rights of the people of in this case, the city of Carthage, and the money that's being robbed of them that the city doesn't even need apparently, and also the and trying to remove onerous and ridiculous fees and to protect their right to keep and bear arms. You are illegally removed from the council meeting so that you can't even introduce the resolution.
It's a big club, and I'm not in it. And that's okay. I don't want to be in it. And when I ran for office, I said it's going to be transparent. If you don't have anything to hide, you shouldn't worry about it. Everything I'm looking to do, I'm not looking to force anyone to do anything. If you're looking to force people to do things or spend money in certain areas, you're going to have an issue with me. I don't pick fights with anyone. You can watch every single council meeting to date. I'm the only one that showed up for every single one of them. I don't pick fights with people, but I will ruthlessly defend the Constitution of the United States, especially the Bill of Rights, and also our human rights. And it's one of those things, you're not getting your way. You're not getting the freedom of speech. You can't even hear me out. You can't let the people hear that this is how much money the city has. This is what the city's doing to veterans. This is what's going on in Washington. This is how we can actually have an effect at the local level. They don't want that heard. The city council members on that, Steve Babcock, Barbara Knappel, Sam Petty, Bill Reese, and Jesse Peters, all had a chance to stand up and do what was right. They align themselves with Mayor Smith. I'm going to go ahead and just call them out on it. I have no problem being called on it. Take responsibility for your actions.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I'm going to take that moment to put up in the comments the names of everyone else, including you, that are on the council, including the mayor and vice mayor, and some nice emails where you can reach them and tell them what you think about this respectfully. Let's be respectful.
Absolutely. And
Do not
and
be
that's the other thing,
disrespectful.
Spike. I'm not going to stoop to their level. I'm going to stay
course.
professional. I'm going to stay respectful. And well, I mean, they are communists, but I'm going to let the communists talk. I will second, even if I vote against it, because freedom of speech is beautiful. I want to hear what they have to say, and they deserve the same amount of time as I do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They deserve the same time that you do. And there we go. So this is going to be the list of the names of, I don't know why it came out that way, but here we are. These are the names of the positions of the people, including Cole, that are on the Carthage, Tennessee Council. As I said in my call to action, where I put this out on my Spike Cohen social media, I encourage anyone who lives anywhere near Carthage, Tennessee, to get in touch with Cole and the other council members and mayor, if you wish, and find out when that next meeting is, and then that way the city council people can see respectfully and peacefully what the people of Carthage actually want. And I bet it isn't for the only councilman, the only person on the council who is respecting the rights and the money and the property of the people to be silenced illegally and removed from a council session. Cole, I know that this is, probably not your immediate concern, although it may be, but I was recently in Tennessee with y'all, and I talked about the need for libertarians to run at the local level, and this is a perfect example as to why. Are y'all working to try to identify some people to also run in Carthage so that we can make it so that we are in the club and that we control the club and that the club is about giving the rights back to the people?
We are. There's several people I've been working with. I'm not really gonna, divulge.
Yeah. No, I know it's early on. Yeah.
Right. And I'm not necessarily trying to identify people as a libertarian either. Just basic freedom views. I'm in a conservative area, and so you're gonna have a lot more conservative views. And I personally have a lot of conservative views myself. I just, as a libertarian, don't force those conservative views on other people. That's the only difference. That being said, there are some plans going on. We're working to see who wants to step up, who wants to get involved. A lot of people do come up to me and they do say, man, I would do that, but that looks terrible. And I'm like, yeah, it is. It's awful. But it wouldn't be terrible if more people got involved. Exactly. I don't want to do this, and you shouldn't want to do it. Honestly, you shouldn't want to do this. But it should be a position of service. It is a position of service. It's a position of representation. I constantly hammer in that we are there to serve the people, and we are there to submit to the people. Right. The people are not there to submit to us. And so as a city council member, I'm there in a position of service and submission. And that sometimes blows people's minds, but that's exactly what it is. The people are the authority, and I do believe in respecting authority, and that's just where that stands.
Well, it's great that you're doing that.
Even if you had just one ally on the city council, you would have gotten a second. You would have had a second. So even then, you have a wedge in. So at least the people would hear what it was. And personally, I am just shocked, absolutely shocked, that a bunch of conservatives wouldn't want to hear about protecting the Second Amendment. Just shocked. I am
gobsmacked and disgusted that conservative. I'm sure it's a nonpartisan race, but conservative Republicans are not wanting to talk about cutting taxes and fees and protecting the Second Amendment. I don't even know how to continue with this show.
What is a conservative Republican? Because I think I know one. And that's it. And seriously, that's it. And it's conservatism in the Republican Party is completely dead. It's long gone. It has to do about power. It has to do about control. And I'm just not for that. I do not know what is best for the people of Carthage. I don't. I have no right to tell anyone how to live their lives. They know what's best for them. I'm just there to get the government out of the way. That's it.
This is what. Yes.
I was going to say, literally, greatest answer possible.
This is what you want to hear from elected officials. I don't know how you should live your life. I think you should live your life. I'm going to stay out of it as much as possible. I am not an expert in how you should live your life. You should live your life. Here's your money back. Here's your power back. Here's your freedom to make decisions back. Go live your life and go be well. And I'm going to not create problems for you in the meantime.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, disagree. I think disagreeing is an excellent thing to have. Have some disagreement. Let's pick on ourselves in a respectful manner. Let's pick things apart. Let's find out, you know, hey, guess what? I'm a human. I'm wrong a lot of times. Point out where I'm wrong. Do it in a respectful way. Figure out where I'm wrong. Let's move forward. And sometimes you're going to be wrong. Let's point it out in a respectful way and let's move forward. There's no reason for this. I keep continually hear how the council members want respect on the council. Yet none of them have showed me an ounce of respect because guess what? I'm not in the club. And you know what? If I'm going to die on a hill, I'm going to die on the hill of lowering taxes 50% on property and defending the Second Amendment. Come and take it.
Yep, I agree. This is why I now want you to run for governor. No, listen, this is great. This is good stuff. And this is what we need. Folks, when Matt talks about, when we talk about running libertarians at the local level, we're talking about folks like Cole who are passionate about just serving the people in his, or you know, if it's someone else, if it's a woman, in her district, in their districts, in their cities, in their counties, wherever, and just protecting your rights and trying to claw back some of what's been stolen from you. This is what we can do. If there were 2 or 3 more libertarians there with Cole, if there were, like Matt said, if there were even one more, he'd get a second. They'd have to vote on it, and you'd have to see them be on the record for whether they wanted to cut taxes and you know, protect your right to keep and bear arms. If there were a few more on there, then it would actually happen.
Right, you would have at least had the transparency where it was read, and the people could have heard it.
Yes,
At the fairest of minimums.
Why do they want to hide it? I'll tell you this. In Tennessee, we're making waves. We've got 2 council members out in Clarksville, Joshua Beal and Tricia Butler, a county right over from me. We have a mayor, Stephen Chambers, is the mayor of the county. Awesome guy, libertarian. My wife is on the county commission here in Smith County. So, but again, we just need more people to step up. And if more people step up and get involved and say, hey, I want to step up to serve, not to tell you what to do, but just to represent. And this isn't a huge job to just represent and make some small decisions. That's all we need.
That's amazing. Cole, how can people help you? Not just with this situation to try to get some movement in the council, and just in general, how can people reach out to you? How can they find out how they can help? Because I've had so many people contact me after I shared that video saying, you know, how can people reach out and how can they help you?
Honestly, the best thing that could happen, it really does come from a local level. The citizens of Carthage are the best help I could get. If they can show up to the meetings during the citizens' comments, that would be extremely helpful. As far as statewide or nationwide, I mean, honestly, I'm a blessed man. Everything else is going great in my life. I have no aspirations for anything except to grow cannabis, run a tavern, and watch my kids grow up and just serve my country where I can. And that's pretty much where I'm at, you know. I mean, if something comes up with help down the road, sure. But right now, I'm exactly where I want to be. And I just want people to be more transparent. I want people just to ask more questions and get involved. Here's how they can help. Get involved in your local area. Get involved in your local government. We are going to make more of an impact at the local level than we are at the state level, than we are at the federal level. Yes, there are areas that we need to bring attention to and speak out and be figureheads, but the biggest impact we can have is at the local level.
Okay, I want you to run for president now, like right now. just start now. Just do it. Just do it. Don't even think about it. Just do it.
Like,
I know. As soon as I hear someone say, "Listen, I don't want to be involved. I just want to raise my family," I'm like, "Run for president right now!" Like this is who we need. Like we need. It's ironic that the very people that we want to be in office are the ones who don't want to be in office. And unfortunately, it's the ones that do want to be in office that are often the ones that we don't want in office. But hey, Colt, thank you so much for coming on. We're going to continue to beat this drum on accountability, not just in Carthage, but in cities and counties and municipalities around the country. And we're just so happy to have had you on.
Hey, thanks, guys. I appreciate all y'all do and keeping the torch of liberty alive. Anything y'all need from me, just let me know.
Hey,
Run for president. Run for president. Thank you, man. Thank you so much. Man, this is what libertarian elected officials look like.
Yes. Every libertarian elected official that I have ever met, that I've ever known or I've ever met, has been they've been cold.
They've been cold. They don't want power. They just want you to have your power back. We're about to do a show where we're going to talk about a bunch of schmucks doing schmucky stuff and robbing you by billions of dollars and making your life miserable and killing people around the world and putting people in cages here. And then we've got libertarians, we got folks like Cole who want to undo all that, even if it's just in their local city. And they don't have any aspirations for power. Cole just wants to run his farm. He just wants to he has a tavern too, Ebel's Tavern. And he wants to raise his family. He wants to see his kids grow. He just wants to be left alone, and he wants you to be left alone, and he wants you to be able to be free. These are the kind of folks that we need. They aren't ambitious for power. They're ambitious to take the power back and give it back to you. And if that didn't inspire you to get more involved locally with your party and not just with your party, but with any liberty movements or any kind of liberty adjacent thing that's happening in your local area, then frankly, I don't even need to do my get involved tap dance that I was going to do, because that's nowhere near as inspiring as what Cole just said. I mean, I'll still do it. I don't really have room here. I'm not going to do it.
Did you see the thing about a fundraiser where you're supposed to do the single ladies dance?
No. What is who started this?
It was either Brett Robertson or Brent DeRitter. I don't really remember which one. It's in order to raise money for something I have no intention of buying yet. Somebody said,
"Is this about the Oreo cookie?"
No. Somebody said I need to put a ring on it, and I said I can't afford that. And they said, "You must be getting rich off Muddied Waters." And I said, "Well, let me see. 3 months salary. I'll get her a ring pop." They said, "You should hold a fundraiser." And I said, "Yeah, and if we raise enough for a Mac Daddy ring, Spike will do the single ladies dance."
Oh, for Sarah? For Superfan Sarah Anderegg?
For Superfan Sarah Anderegg.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
I'll even get a glove and do the whole thing. But then you got to marry her. So I'll definitely do that.
I mean, I won't marry her.
No, I mean, you got to marry her. No, you got to marry her.
No, I'm not asking the government for permission to marry her.
You have to. Well, no, you don't have to ask the government's permission, but you have to do a thing in front of God.
Oh, in the civil union,
yeah,
I could do that.
Okay, then you should. Yeah, I'll dance for that. Joe Makesdrifts made a very generous donation. Thank you, Joe, and said, "Hey, speaking of governors, anyone know if Michigan has a libertarian candidate for 2022? They do not yet, but they will. They are actually going to have their convention in late June." June 26th and 27th, I believe, where in Michigan? I think Grand Rapids, Michigan. I can look it up. I'm going to be there. So I'll actually be at it. It's funny that I don't know where things are that I'm going to be at. That's what my schedule is like now. They will be on June 26th and 27th doesn't say where. I believe, I want to say Grand Rapids, Michigan, but they may have had to move it. I know thanks to Gretchen Whitmer, the current governor, it's very hard to do an event in June.
She's still there, huh?
She's still there. And 2 months after what is expected to be herd immunity due to the vaccinations, she's still planning on totally locking things down and maybe even making it more strict in June when the sun comes out. And it's less likely to spread. because she's really smart. So we'll see. But they're planning on having their convention on the 26th and 27th, and it will be at the convention that they pick their nominees, and including the gubernatorial nominee. And I will be there. So go get in touch with Michigan LP and sign up to be at their convention. And come see me. I'll be there. Hey, I don't know why that was so low energy right then, but I'll be there.
Because it's Michigan.
It's
And
Michigan.
Gretchen still
No.
starred. I love
Listen,
Michigan. Don't get me wrong.
I love Michigan.
I love Michigan. I would not want to go there right now. Every time
I was
I've been
in-
to Michigan, it's been a great time. It's just with Gretchen Whitmer being there, I would not want to go there because I don't want to give any tax dollars to Gretchen Whitmer.
Yeah, but what we're going to do is we're going to basically defy all of her orders on a native reservation. So it's going to be it's going to be like the most Michigan. The two biggest things you can do, anti-government things you can do there are go to a native reservation and defy the orders, and go to Flint and dunk on the Flint and Michigan government in front of the Flint Water building, which is what I did last year on the bus tour. So I will have done the two most anti-government libertarian things you can do in Michigan that are legal, I guess. So speaking of things that one can do that are legal, we're now doing our next segment, which of course is the Black Cold Brewed Caffeinated Rapid Fire segment, brought to you by Black Cold Brewed Organic Coffee, spelled BLVCK, because who the hell cares how things are spelled anymore. Black is the most delicious cold brewed organic coffee to be horrifically misspelled. If you go to Black Brews, blvckbrews.com, you can use code MW for free shipping. Matt?
Yes. So many of you out there in the Muddied verse
Yes.
are watching this right now on Facebook.
I'm so sorry.
I feel so bad for you.
I feel terrible for you.
You know, you must not like clarity. In your videos,
Oh.
compressed it.
Oh, I see what you did. Yeah, no, that's what you meant.
Now, Facebook is trying to compete with other platforms like Twitch and YouTube and other places where you can give donations to streamers. And they have a policy called Facebook Stars. Now, I just want to let you know, we will. Am I over in your section?
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Hold on. I'll fix that. You
just
keep saying things.
We will never, ever, ever apply for Facebook Stars.
Ever.
And we are going to tell you or ask you. We're not going to tell you. You can do whatever you want.
Do what you want. You're a free person.
Never ask us to accept them because we won't. And just don't ever give them out to anybody. And the reason is for every star that you give, like let's say you were giving them to us, because who else would you really be giving them to?
Right.
For every star that you give us, we get a penny. That means that you can just fast blast like just star, and I'm certain it like comes up and shows on the Facebook app for those of you who are still allowed to use it. I'm not, but you're not at all bitter.
Not bitter, even remotely.
You kicked me off. You banned me permanently. I got back on, and then you took away my app.
Took away my, and then now I wasn't allowed to live stream until like I think 2 to 3 days from now that I'm allowed to live stream again.
So you could just like fast blast a bunch of stars, and it probably looks cooler. I'm not sure, but let's say you get 250 stars to give us, we'll get $2.50. $2.50, but those 250 stars cost you $7.99. I was gonna say $8 and just round it up, and I didn't want to do that because I don't want somebody to be like, well, that's not right. But yeah, $7.99 to buy 250 stars to give to us. So
they're
Facebook
keeping like
$5.50
over 2/3.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a merchant fee, folks. Like usually like PayPal's fee is what, 3%?
One. It's 1% if you do like the automatic cash out. If it's the merchant fee, like if they're giving us money and saying it's for a good or a service, yeah, it's 3%, I think.
And so Stephen Witt in the comments is saying what you need to do. Go to anchor.fm/muddied waters, and you can make donations there if you want to, or you can also leave a message. You can go and you can leave a message, and we play him during that segment that we do later. I'm not going to say it yet because, that's the segment we do later. But yeah, don't we aren't going to sign up for stars. It's a total screwing of you. You are thinking that you're helping us, and we're getting fractions, and Facebook gets to keep like almost 3/4 of it. It's stupid. It's dumb.
And knowing Facebook, they would hold on to the money for 30 days or whatever, which I get, because that's pretty standard. Twitch does it, YouTube does it, they all do it. But then we would get kicked off of Facebook because we're only one strike away. But we would get kicked off of Facebook, and then they would just keep the money, and you would have spent all of your money and given it straight to Facebook.
To Facebook, which is in the process of silencing libertarian voices slowly, which is why we're branching out to all these other media outlets that we're using.
Everywhere else.
Yeah, so in general, go follow us on YouTube and Twitter. It's better there anyway. And also, and on float.app/muddywatersmedia. And obviously if you're listening to this on the podcast, but yeah, go to anchor.fm. Don't do the Facebook stars. It's just garbage.
PayPal. If you're like, I don't want to.
Or just PayPal.
Yeah. If you don't want to do the monthly subscription thing, muddiedwatersmedia@gmail.com via PayPal. However much you want to send us. And if you do it on Tuesdays before 7:00, it will say this show is brought to you by whoever PayPal's us the most money on Tuesday.
Yeah. So that's your big day is Tuesday. It's the see you next Tuesday donation. And if we still have this thing going. If we raise $900 in between the 2 episodes, I will hit myself with a hot dog that I form out of salmon meat. So, I don't know how that hasn't happened yet, but whatever. That's a legit thing that you could choose. Our Skyline Libertarian asks if we are on MeWe. We are. More about that.
So we do have a MeWe page. We don't post a lot there, but there is a very active chat on MeWe. That is a lot of fun. You will either get really great libertarian discussion, or you will get overly personal conversations about anybody and their lives. And yes, that includes mine.
Well, I know I want to tune in.
Much to Superfan Sarah Anderegg's dismay.
I'm sure. So yeah, we are on MeWe, but yeah, don't do stars. PayPal us muddiedwatersmedia@gmail.com on PayPal.
Don't do stars for anybody.
Don't do stars in general. Just don't do it.
Facebook.
Just help people directly. If you want, find out what their PayPal or their Venmo or their whatever is, go give them money where they get most of it, not this other nonsense. Speaking of something that makes you want to throw money, something really incredible happened in a church in Calgary, Alberta. There is a church there with a pastor named Artur Pawlowski, who is from Poland and has some experience dealing with authoritarian regimes. So he moved to Canada because I guess he just didn't want to give up on that. And so, as you probably know, Canada is really, 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 really locked down. Really locked down. Way more than here. And oddly enough, COVID's spreading every bit as rapidly there as it is here. Wonder of wonders. And it's almost like lockdowns don't work. But anyway, he was having a Passover service in his church, and the police showed up because they were upset that he had, I think, 15, 20 people there. And that's illegal. How many?
I don't know. There were just people. There were just
people gathering in a building for a holy day of theirs, and the police didn't like that. So they gathered there too. Because it's okay when a bunch of cops show up, but not normal people. That's dangerous. So here's what the pastor did. This is just fantastic. This is what the pastor did.
Please get out. Get out of this property. Immediately get out. Get out of this property immediately. Out. I don't want to hear anything. Out of this property immediately.
That's a
I don't
health
want to hear
worker
a
there.
word. Out. Out. Out of this property immediately until you come back with a warrant. Out. 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 Out of this property. Immediately out. Immediately go out and don't come back. I don't want to talk to you. Not a word. Out of this out of this property. Immediately out. I don't care what you have to say. Out. Out. Out of this property, you Nazis. Out. Out. Gestapo is not allowed here. Immediately, Gestapo is not allowed. Out. Do you understand English? Get out of this property. Go. So go. Go. And don't come back without a warrant. Out, Nazi. Out. Out. You understand? Nazis are not welcome here. Out. And don't come back without a warrant. Do not come back without a warrant. You understand that? You're not welcome here. Nazis are not welcome here.
That is just,
Fantastic.
that's pretty incredible.
That's fantastic. When I made that video the other night, I played it like 15 times.
It's I hate to call it like liberty porn because it's a church and that's like not really appropriate, but man. I mean, it doesn't get better than a pastor screaming at the police and a city worker saying, "Get out of my private property.
Out.
Get out. Out, Nazi."
Out.
That's just
Get out.
get you right here.
Nazis
This guy is
are
the
not
Cole
welcome
Ebel
here.
of Canadian pastors. This is incredible. Also, continuing to update, the church or the police have not come back yet. So where she said that they can easily get a warrant, turns out not that easily.
Well, that was on Saturday, Passover, because it was Passover service on Saturday, and then Easter, so courts are closed, and then Easter Monday. So,
but today's Tuesday.
Today is Tuesday, so like they probably put in the request this morning. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Go ahead.
So Joe Hackman distracted me when he said that he saw the late slide back into frame.
Yeah. Matt tried to pull one on all of you, thinking that he watched it too, but he didn't. He doesn't care. It's a very interesting. Elizabeth Coquillard, who's in Indiana, says we have an LP pastor, Libertarian Party pastor, running for Senate Exploratory Committee, and he gets to preaching when condemning the lockdowns. It's great. It's great to have a pastor. They have a different energy level when they're breaking stuff down, and we saw that with Ricky Harrington in Arkansas. I love it. I love it. So far no actions taken by these peaceful church people getting together for a holiday. I mean, can you imagine 2018 or 2019? I tell you that in Canada, it's going to be illegal to go to gather with other people in a building because of a virus that has been demonstrated cannot be slowed the spread of by forcing everyone to stay home. Because that's actually how viruses tend to spread during cold and flu season, is everyone staying home. If I had told you that, what would you probably, I would think would go, "You lying troll, you."
Just doesn't make sense.
How dare you? And I'll say, and I'm going to fix this by running for the Libertarian Party vice presidential nomination. And you go, "Well, that in a pig's eye, that'll happen, right?" And I go, no, I'm going to actually get it and win, and then I'm going to travel across the country and then we're going to come in third. I'm going to come in third for vice president, me, Spike Cohen, and then you're going to go, "Shut up, this is all stupid, and I think that you're using drugs again." But here we are, folks. Now, which part of everything I just said was more horrifying?
But if you were using drugs, it would be no knowledge.
Yes, if I were using drugs, I would go to nugofknowledge.com. Well, meanwhile, that's not drugs.
It's not drugs, but
It's not drugs. It's cannabis.
drugs.
It's a medicine, but not a drug medicine. A medicine. Nugofknowledge.com. Use checkout code SPIKE for 10% off your weed. And you can go to cumberlandcannabisco.com for Tennessee CBD products from Cole Ebel. Incidentally, fun fact, it's illegal for the police to test hemp, CBD hemp for THC levels right now because the court threw out their testing standards. So if you just advertise your product as Tennessee CBD, you can just do that.
Yeah. Brett Robertson wants to know if we're going to have, if we collectively are going to try to have Ricky Dale Harrington Jr. on to talk about his governor's race. That is a question for somebody else. That
Yes.
Is a question for Brian Lambrecht.
That's a question for Brian. We don't have a Stephen, but we do have a Brian. And that would be a question for him, but we'd be happy to have him on.
I'd love to have him on.
We would love to have Ricky on. First of all, I love Ricky. I got to hang out with him in person when I went to Arkansas during our respective campaigns, and we had a really cool panel on criminal justice reform. And Ricky Dale Harrington isn't just, a lot of people recognize him as being a pastor, but he was a prison chaplain. And he got to see firsthand what the prison systems are like in Arkansas, which has, I believe, if it's not the highest, it's definitely one of the highest incarceration rates in the U.S., which itself has the highest incarceration rate in the planet. And that means that Arkansas is like the most likely place for someone to go to prison. And so he definitely has a lot of experience when it comes to that. We'd love to have him on. Let's see. So speaking of people shouting into the ether, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, she was recently rated the most something, right, Matt?
Yeah, she was recently rated as the 230th most effective Democratic member of the House of Representatives out of 240.
230 out of 240.
10 were worse than her in effectiveness.
Yeah, another way to say that is she's one of the 10 least effective Democrats in the House of Representatives. She has introduced a total of 21 substantive bills that did not receive substantial backing from other lawmakers, including committee and floor votes. There was a study done by Vanderbilt University and the University of Virginia that did not stop her from saying that this new $2.25 trillion infrastructure bill was about as substantive as her work in the House by saying that it needs to be more, even though they didn't do the things she said, because she's in the bottom 10.
She's in the bottom 10.
She's in the bottom 10. Let's be clear.
To speak Chris Reynolds lingo.
Yes.
If this was the soccer that he watches, the European League soccer that he watches, she would be relegated to the lower league at her effectiveness.
The way we say it in America that cares about freedom and guns and mom and apple pie, she'd be in the single A teams because we watch baseball. I actually don't watch baseball.
Yeah, but we're going to talk about it.
We're going to talk about it. We're definitely going to talk about it. There's a foreshadowing there. AOC's role is not to actually pass anything. AOC's role is to convince progressives that they aren't being screwed by the Democrats in the same way that, here I go. Thomas Massey and other liberty Republicans, their job, and other constitutional conservative Republicans, their job is to say stuff that makes libertarians and conservatives think that they're not being screwed over by the Republican Party. It's all a sham. You're being conned. And just to prove it, AOC was recently in a video where she was called out for not being nearly as forceful in her condemnation of Joe Biden, who is putting more kids in cages than Trump is, and who is continuing to build the wall at a faster pace than Trump did. And she said, "Yeah, no, I tweeted a couple times that was bad." So yeah, no, that's controlled opposition there.
If you hear somebody using the word surge, they're trying to equate it to insurgency and invoke a militaristic idea. These are children. Yeah, no.
Yeah. That's a good way of condemning Joe Biden without ever mentioning that he's doing that. Speaking of which, Matt, I heard that Joe Biden is going to be restarting construction on that wall that he said he would not build one more mile of. That was his word.
That's right. Yes. A lot of people in the comments have actually been mentioning this throughout the show.
Yes.
But yes, according to... Man, I really should have put that guy's name in there.
The Homeland Security Director.
Yes. Whose name
Plinken.
I'm blanking on completely. Was it?
Isn't that Plinken?
No.
Hold on.
Plinken is Secretary of State, I think. Or something. I am
Mayorkas. Alejandro Mayorkas. The first Hispanic man to be in charge of the mass caging operation of the federal government. It's real inclusive pluralism that's happening. On this wall, we believe that Black Lives Matter. Science is science. Climate change is real. All people have rights. That's what we believe on this wall. Now
That's
get
actually
out.
Paying for the wall is the Black Lives Matter's paying for a portion of it, and
Yes.
climate change is paying for a portion of it.
It's a sponsorship, yeah.
According to Mayorkas, he said the president has communicated quite clearly his decision that the emergency that triggered the devotion of Department of Defense funds to the construction of the border wall is ended. But that leaves room to make decisions as part of the administration, in particular areas of the wall that need renovation, particular projects that need to be finished, which means they are going to finish building the wall.
It's a slight change, of course, from when Biden, of course, said, hypothetically, he said, building a massive wall that spans the entire southern border is not a serious policy solution. It is a waste of money that diverts attention from genuine threats to our homeland security. And then he later said he would not build 1 mile more. And what he really meant is, I'm going to build hundreds of miles more.
I am going to watch as many people attempt to get into this country who I am not going to allow in. And then I'm going to say that we need to build this wall.
Yeah.
And nobody is going to call me on this crap.
Except Ted Cruz, which I love.
Did Ted Cruz call him on it?
Well, he made the video showing what's happening.
I was like, I haven't.
On the wall thing, probably not. No.
Yeah. My question is, and I posted this in the Muddied Waters groups on MeWe and Facebook today. How long is it, and how many Republicans are going to say, we don't need this wall. This wall will keep people in. And how many Democrats are now going to say, it's kind of necessary. We kind of need it right now.
We kind of need to keep them out, It's keeping wages low. I'm waiting for Bernie Sanders to make the... Go ahead.
This would be one of the quickest flips of parties ever.
Yeah. It's going to happen because the neoliberal foreign policy includes tight restrictions on the borders in order to prop up the smuggling cartels that are involved in intelligence agency clandestine operations. And by the way, when I'm saying this, I know that sounds very tinfoil hat. All of this has been exposed multiple times over the years. This is all public information. There's nothing, they're not even trying to hide it anymore. But the reality is they want people to come here illegally because A, the big businesses that hire them pay less when it's illegal, because then they don't have to match their Social Security and their health insurance. They just make the small businesses do that. They don't have to do that. And B, it actually props up the cartels that they're trying to keep in power in Mexico and in Latin America that are taking over those countries and leading to the unrest and political violence that's causing so many people to flee here in the first place. It's almost like that's exactly what they want. And the whole time, they play Americans against each other. You either have to believe in strong protections for the American people, or you have to believe in protecting the human rights of people trying to come here and build a better life. And at no point are we allowed to acknowledge the fact that Republicans and Democrats are working together to create this mess and then capitalize on it on both sides of the border.
I cannot wait for Biden to have to answer one question about the wall.
I mean, we've seen how he answers things. He goes, it's important that when you really believe in something that you gotta, then, and what happens then is you have to, well, anyway.
Do you need to have, like, you gotta have the notebook.
Oh, my notebook's over there.
And again, see, that's why you gotta have the Biden book.
Gotta have the Biden book.
The wall. When Trump wanted the wall, it was bad. And now you see the situations have changed. Look, come on, man. Look, situations, they're different now.
Trump's wall was a bad dude.
Donald Trump was a bad dude.
Now, thankfully, Joe Biden did come out with a very strong clarification of his border wall policy that I think will, a lot of the people that are concerned in the comments about the hypocrisy here, I think that this will greatly ameliorate your concerns.
And I had a nurse nurses at Walter Reed Hospital who would bend down and whisper in my ear. They'd go home and get me pillows. They would make sure they'd actually, probably nothing ever taught in, you can't do it in the COVID time, but they'd actually breathe in my nostrils to make me move, to get me moving.
It's powerful.
So powerful. Powerful stuff there from...
I'm glad he could resolve that for everyone.
Powerful stuff from the President of the United States
of America. Now, speaking of things that are kind of dumb and...
Speaking of giant cartels.
Giant. Oh, wow. Speaking of giant government-backed cartels, Matt.
Yeah. The MLB has decided to move the All-Star game from Atlanta to Denver in protest of the voting law in Georgia that the MLB is calling racist. And in their protest of this racist law,
yes,
they are moving the All-Star game, which will bring an estimated $100 million in revenue to the city of which it will be played in, from the 51% black populated Atlanta to the 76% white populated Denver.
In this overwhelmingly white city, we believe that Black Lives Matter, science is real, climate change also real, black people, I'm not actually really concerned about them, and whatever the newest pander is, we believe that as well here in Denver. I'm actually going to be in Denver in April, so I probably shouldn't bash the entire city of Denver. This is
the people who are watching this show and who are coming to see you understand you are not referring to them.
No, God, no, not you. Those other foolish rubes that are out there. They make me sick, but not you. You're the good one. They're moving it from Georgia, a state where they passed a law requiring voting ID and making it a misdemeanor to give water to people within 125 feet of a voting location, to Colorado, a state where they have voter ID and where it's also against the law to give water to people within 100 feet of a voting location. Also, they're way more white.
Feet.
That's 25 feet.
25 feet.
That's all the difference.
Yeah, that's the important. That is the difference between giving $100 million in revenue to a city versus not. That 25 feet.
Yeah, they're taking money out of black hands and black-owned businesses' hands to give to white people because they allow people to get water within 25 feet closer of the voting location. Still have voter ID though, incidentally.
Right.
There's also been a lot of talk about the. Go ahead.
In early voting or absentee voting, you still have to do signature checks in Colorado, which you now have to do in Georgia, and you have to do ID in Colorado, show ID for early voting, which you now have to do in Georgia. So this is pandering.
Virtue signaling. Yeah.
Virtue signaling. Yeah, this is virtue signaling and pandering at the worst level, because they literally come out looking so much more racist than what they are actually.
Yeah.
Virtue signaling again.
This is like when the studios and sports leagues pulled out of North Carolina over the transgender bathroom bill, but continue to do business in countries where being homosexual or trans is a death penalty offense, where they kill you. And when I say they kill you, I mean they kill you right then. Like, you might get a brief trial, but then you're thrown from a building or hanged later that day, or stoned to death. Because in this rock pile that's covering a dead gay person, we believe that Black Lives Matter. Climate change is real. Gay people should be hit with rocks until they're dead. But Black Lives Matter. Well, unless they're here, then we'd stone them too.
Right.
This is
unless they're gay.
Yeah, no, black gay no, they'll get stoned faster because also they're black.
Right.
That's a whole other subject.
Right.
Yeah, this is what virtue signaling looks like. But I'll tell you what virtue signaling does not look like. And that is the personal injury attorney, Chris Reynolds, attorney at law, anchor call-in moment, where you can totally not virtue signal by going to anchor.fm/muddiedwaters, where you can leave messages for us. You can also donate money to us, as we said before, so do that. And you can leave messages to us, and we will play them now, during this time that we're playing messages now. You do not have to leave a donation. You do not have to donate money to leave a message or for us to play it, but we will like you better if you do it.
Very true.
So be sure to do that.
Now, I did not screen these calls this week, so
yes.
And all of them are from one person. So I am terrified.
Oh, no.
So we will start with the first one.
Well, hello there, Guy on left and Spike and Messieurs Ebel and Cohen. This is Matt Hicks calling on the personal injury attorney, Chris Reynolds, attorney at law. Anchor call-in moment.
Oh.
Peace out. I just wanted to take this opportunity to wish a very special and happy belated birthday to Superfan Sarah Anderegg. And the crowd goes wild. Hashtag Laser Legend.
Who this show is brought to you by today.
This show is brought to you by noted superfan and farm Jew Sarah Anderegg, who would like you to know that you are loved, you are valid, you are Jewish, and you belong in a farm.
Yes.
It's a fantastic woman.
What a wonderful woman. Anybody who has been watching this show for the last 4 years has probably noticed the weight gain in the last year or so on my end. And that is 100% her fault.
Yeah.
Which she would come bursting in right now if she was watching and be like, "You look better now. You were
You
too
do.
thin.
You were.
need."
Yeah.
In fact, eat now, and she would bring me food.
Yeah, and she would make you eat some kind of delicious Jewish pastry right then, and she'd be right.
She would be right.
She would be right.
None of my pants fit anymore, and it's annoying
Good.
because I don't spending money on new pants.
Yeah, I mean, I hate that your 26 waist pants aren't fitting anymore. Now you're gonna have to shop in the adult section. You were too skinny, and you got a nice woman who's putting some meat on your bones. You're gonna catch the death of cold. Come inside, please.
I live in Florida.
Well, I mean, there's a draft. So yes, happy birthday to Sarah. And there's the first one down. That one wasn't scary.
That one wasn't terrifying at all.
We'll see what's next.
Hello again, Guy on Left and Spike and guests. This is Matt Hicks calling in on the personal injury attorney, Chris Reynolds, attorney at law, Anchor Call-In Moments, TF. And we have for you today day 7 of the Derek Chauvin trial update. And I just want to say that the defense attorney tried really hard to frame it in such a way that if a crowd is standing around a police officer doing something and the crowd is doing anything other than cheering the cop on and telling them he's a great cop and doing a good job, then that's a threat. What world do we live in? Hashtag Laser Legend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody that caught the writer's block last week on Thursday, Matt Hicks was the guest. And he and I discussed the Derek Chauvin trial for a little bit. And that is one of the major talking points that the defense attorney is going with. And even on the show, Matt Hicks, I'm going to try to quote him correctly. He said that guy is slick, like super slick, because he's been working on this angle for about a week now.
Right.
And that is his art. Like, that's literally his entire argument of, if the crowd of people weren't there, George Floyd would still be alive. And I don't mean to laugh at that, but the logic of it is
there's video of it. They were there saying, "Hey, you're killing him, please stop." If you find yourself accidentally killing someone, or in the process of accidentally killing someone, and a crowd shows up to say, "Hey, you're killing that person. Stop, please, don't kill him no more," and you continue to look at them while you kill him, that's your fault.
You should kind of be paying attention to what you are doing.
To what you're doing in that moment, yeah.
So,
Especially if
whom you
what you're
are
doing
murdering.
is, yeah.
should
If
be
you're in the
paying
process of
attention to
murdering,
who
yeah.
you're murdering, as opposed to the crowd of people that you are smugly smiling at,
Yeah.
whilst putting your knee on the back
On
of
someone.
backside of somebody's throat and murdering them in front of witnesses.
Yeah. I mean, so let's be clear. The job of a defense attorney is to defend, right? So we often get mad at the defense attorney because they're trying to get the client off, right? They're trying to say whatever they think will stick. So I'm angry about the fact that they're...
In all fairness, as libertarians, normally we're getting mad at the prosecuting attorneys.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It is the job of a defense attorney to defend their client. And if the client says, "I want to plead not guilty," then the defense attorney has to try to go with it as much as they can. Which is why, yes, I'm mad that Derek Chauvin has a cop saying this stuff, or has an attorney saying this stuff, or saying, for example, that, "Oh, well, he had trace amounts of drugs in his system, so that's what killed him." Not the neck, not the boot on his neck, or the knee on his neck for several minutes while his head is smashed up against a curb. The drugs did it. Now, he was regularly taking drugs, but that suddenly killed him in that moment when, coincidentally, he was being kneeled on. This is what a defense attorney has to do when they have a garbage case like this. I find it absurd and the hubris incredible to try to victim blame the crowd that was desperately trying to get the cop to stop murdering George Floyd for being the reason that George Floyd was murdered. That is just mwah.
Did you see Cher get raked on the just on the coals on Twitter?
No. Well, not this time.
She tweeted something about, I was talking with my mom and we were talking about the Derek Chauvin trial, and she was talking about how horrible it is, and I said, I know, Mom, I wish I could have been there because maybe things would have been different. And she got just dragged on Twitter because everybody, oh, you have the white savior complex. What would you have done that the other people wouldn't have done? Do you think he would have listened to you over anybody else that was screaming at him at that time?
Because you're Cher.
Because she wanted to turn back time.
Wow. That's the whole reason you brought that up, isn't it?
100% was for that joke. Had no idea that the Derek Chauvin thing was going to come up in questions today, but man, I wanted to tell that joke.
Gypsies, tramps, and thieves.
She sounds like
that.
A slightly younger Joe Biden when she sings.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, doesn't she? If I could turn back time, if I could, you know the thing.
You know the thing.
Thing.
Gosh. Oh man. So
here's
yes,
our
no,
next call from.
Yeah, let's take our next call.
Legend Hicks.
Hello again, guy on left and Spike. This is Matt Hicks calling in on the personal injury attorney, Chris Reynolds, attorney at law, anchor call-in moment. Bong bong. Can we take a moment and just embrace the irony of Mitch McConnell criticizing corporations for having a political opinion when politicians can't shut the F up about corporations and businesses?
Oh.
Hashtag laser legend.
The F.
I did not know that Mitch McConnell did this, but that does not surprise me.
It doesn't surprise us. Mitch McConnell being a hypocrite. Get the F out of here, Matt Hicks.
All this means is he's probably mad at Major League Baseball.
Yes, Major League Baseball.
Disagreeing with the Georgia law, because if they said, no, we're going to stay, he wouldn't care. He would not care.
And that would be taking a position on something political.
Right.
Yeah.
He 100% would not care if they were taking a position that agreed with him. So, yes.
100%.
Well,
yeah, and let's be clear. All of our criticism of Major League Baseball, they have the right to do this. It's their league. They can do whatever. My bigger beef with Major League Baseball is just the sheer amount of taxpayer money that they steal from people across multiple states and municipalities in order to fund their craft organization that they have that's ostensibly built around a sport. That's what I'm upset about. I'm not terribly upset that they moved from Atlanta to Colorado, but I will laugh like hell at their hypocrisy at where they moved to, which is kind of worse than where they moved from. So yes, that's what we think about that. And we are still safe so far with this raw dog episode of personal injury attorney Chris Reynolds, attorney at law, where we have no idea what Matt Hicks has in store for us. Let's spin that wheel again.
I know. This is like Russian roulette with like multiple bullets.
Multiple bullets in the chamber.
Right.
And you're only spinning them one at a time, so you're just waiting.
Right. We're down to the very last click. So here's our last one. God, it's short too. We're down to the last one from Matt Laser Legend Hicks.
Hello again, guy on left and Spike and et al. I just wanted to clarify something from my previous message.
Oh,
When I
God.
said politicians can't shut the F up, I meant fuck. They can't
Yeah,
shut
there
the
we are.
fuck up.
There it is.
There we go.
There it is.
Yeah, there it was.
Yeah.
I knew
There-
that was coming.
There was the Matt Hicks we all know and love.
I figured it would be in the comments, but there it is. There it is. Well, Matt, thanks so much. By the way, before I forget, I need to mention that I am going to be at the Humane Society of North Myrtle Beach shelter lock-in. I'll be live streaming on Sunday from my shelter lock-in, where I and my wife, Spike Cohen's wife, I can do it too, will be at the shelter participating in a lock-in to raise funds for the Humane Society of North Myrtle Beach. That is where we have gotten all of our shelter pets over the years. We've done a lot of fostering and volunteering there, and I will be there. They want me to wear a suit. I'm not wearing my suit into a kennel, but I will be there locked in with the dog. It's gonna be fun, and we're gonna hang out until we raise. I forget what the target is, but we're gonna raise money. So be sure to tune into our social media, to my social media this weekend, and give if you can.
Yes.
Yes.
I know that we have another guest coming on momentarily.
Momentarily. And by that, that means
well-
Matt is telling me to get
Well,
that guest.
I was going to say, while we are waiting for that to happen, in the comments, Sean Orton said, like I said last week, the poor guy who called the police because of his employer's questionable policies. Yes, Chris Martin is that kid's name. He's 19 years old. He is going to be 20 soon, which means that when this happened, when the George Floyd thing happened, he may have only been 18. He was the one that was given the fake $20 bill. He went out and said, "Hey, this is a fake $20 bill. This comes out of my paycheck. Please give me a real one." And the guy that was with George Floyd gave him another fake one, and he goes, "No, this is fake." And he just ripped it up in front of him and refused to give him the money. And Chris Martin was the one that went inside and he talked to his manager and he said, "They won't give me the real money." And so the manager called the police. The manager called the police. And I feel terrible for Chris Martin. I feel awful for Chris Martin because in the trial, he said that he feels guilty that George Floyd isn't still alive. He blames himself for that death.
Right.
And on top of it, he blames himself for all of the riots.
Wow.
And Joe Biden. He didn't say that part. But he blames himself for these things. He is living with that guilt, which he shouldn't be living with. That is not something he should be living with. That should squarely be on the shoulders of Derek Chauvin.
Yeah. And he was doing his job by reporting someone who was trying to pass off what they believed to be a counterfeit 20. Putting aside the fact that they were doing what the Federal Reserve and big business does all day long, handing off fraudulent monopoly notes to get over on people. The reality is, he was doing what his job is. If he hadn't done that, he would have been fired. They might have thought that he was in on it. There's many things that could have happened. Here is
the money was going to be coming out of his paycheck.
And that's the thing. The money was going to be coming out of his paycheck. It's not his fault that this was happening. Now, there is a lesson to learn here. When you call the police, you are bringing out someone that is trained to use deadly force. And they often, thanks to qualified immunity, are eager to use deadly force. Not always, and maybe not even most of the time. But we're talking about spinning that Russian roulette wheel. You're spinning that roulette wheel and pointing it at whoever you just called the police on. And possibly even yourself. There have been many people who've called the police and they end up getting killed too. So, you got to be really careful about that when you're doing that. But with that said, you can't blame this guy for that. It is not his fault. Derek Chauvin murdered George Floyd. that's why this is happening. And many other things have been happening in Minneapolis and around the country that have been leading up to this happening for quite some time. This was not his fault. In fact, I still say that the lockdowns helped to create some of the powder keg conditions that led to people. These were people that were being told, stay inside, stay inside, stay inside, stay inside. And then they are out in the streets protesting in the midst of being told to stay inside. At least some of that came, or at least maybe it would have still happened without the lockdowns, but it certainly was made more intense by the fact that everyone was on edge even before all of that. And so it is definitely not his fault.
Yeah.
We are having some issues with getting our next guest on, but we're working that out right now. So we're just gonna talk to the people in the comments.
Right.
Because that's fun. We like you guys. We like the comment people.
Yeah, we like you guys.
We love the comment people.
People in the comments have already seen that, but I'm not going to say that. I'm gonna wait for our next guest to say that, because I feel as though he would want to say that. Stephen Andrew Witt says he may stop by your event.
Which one?
The one in South.
Oh, in North Myrtle Beach. Yeah. Yeah.
I was going to
let me know.
He's in Horry County. I believe he's running. I believe he's running for city council in Horry County. I believe so. I'm not 100% sure.
Horry County.
What?
It's not Horry County. It's Horry County.
And I've been there. It's Horry County.
That's fair. And not even spelled that way.
Yeah.
Not even spelled that way.
Don't even attempt to say that I didn't say that right.
Okay. That's fair. No, because I grew up here and you are not incorrect in that assessment.
Yeah, I've only been there once to see you, and
that was bad enough.
Let me say, I picked up the vibe of Horry County. Also, part of Tiger King was filmed there. I think it was there. I believe that was in that county. Jacob LaBelle, the reason I am so laggy is because of Skype.
We hate Skype.
But whenever we have multiple guests, whenever we have guests on, we have to use Skype.
Yeah, we have to use Skype because that's what allows us to do this format here where we have multiple feeds coming in at the same time. So it's awesome that Skype offers that, but Skype sucks so much. Also, the video quality is better, but the sound lag more than makes up for the video quality issues. So, like, for example, we use Skype when I go on Kennedy, which is weird. And there's like a time lag that happens as a result of that. And yeah, the sound quality is better, but I'm often responding like 2 seconds after what was said. That's their decision.
Thank you for a contribution toward Mrs. Sarah Wright's ring, which
yes.
Look, she doesn't have to take my name. I'm not that person.
She doesn't have to.
Know this is gonna happen. Like, let's not.
I mean, it could happen.
Let's not get any ideas. She's a planner, and I am not. So don't even start trying to get her to plan anything along these lines.
Yeah. No. Do it. Give more money for the ring. Anything that is earmarked for the ring goes straight to Matt. We don't share that 50-50 like we do with the other stuff. So get those. Yeah. Oh no! All of a sudden now you're good with it, right? Get those. Get that ring money in.
Look. So here's my issue. Here's my issue, and I have explained this to numerous people. Yes. When I was in Alaska, I worked at a jewelry store. Caitlin Cloven gets it. If you want to wow her, get her a ring pop. That was what my plan was.
That was a very that was a very Gentile comment, Caitlin. He is dating a farm Jew. Okay, she wants to see the ring.
But when I was in Alaska, I was working at a jewelry store, and the markup, Brian just texted us. The markup on jewelry is so exorbitant. Like, they would have these color codes on the backs of the price tags, and that would show you exactly how much you were allowed to immediately cut off the price when you were talking to somebody. So if it was like a purple tag, and you picked it up and you're like, okay, this is $10,000. Immediately, you can start at 6,600, and there's wiggle room from there. So I have an issue paying for overpriced shiny rocks that are inflated in price because of an advertising campaign back in the 1930s.
Hey, listen, I agree with that as well. And I still say that you are now dealing with, you are not dating a Gentile, Matt. You are dating not just a Jew, you're dating a farm Jew. And it is important. You're dating an agricultural, a what?
You're encroaching on my side now.
Well, I'm taking the floor, good sir. And if you want to have this conversation, I'm just going to edge you out there. You are dating an agricultural Semite, and the reality is that if you want to be able to, and you definitely. Just earmark your donations for the ring, and we're making this happen. Hashtag Farm Jew Ring. Speaking of Jews and food, sure. We have a Jew joining us. This is a terrible segue, but we have a gentleman who is running for city clerk in DeKalb, Illinois. And he is joining us to update us on how that's going. Tonight is the election night there. And so all the way from, I didn't update his name of where he is, but I'll do that right now. Joining us from...
This is with an S. This is not with a T. This is with an S.
Yeah, this is not my wife. This is not my wife that is joining us. This is Sasha Cohen. No relation. Why is he not coming up? Why? Wait. This is Sasha. Wait. Why is this happening? Here we go. Is this now? Are we going to see him? There we are. Sasha Cohen. Joining us from DeKalb, Illinois, and I will change that. I will update that. Sasha, how are things going up there in Illinois?
They are going awesome. We've been getting results in pretty periodically, and it is looking really good. As of my last check, I'm sitting at a little over 1,500 votes, and my opponent is at 328. So, yeah. It looks like this is a thing.
And what's the percentage of votes that are in?
It says that 41 out of 65 precincts have reported so far. So,
it's looking good.
Yeah, your average voter turnout for a municipal election here in DeKalb is like 3,300, and with 1,800 votes in so far, I'm up 1,200. So
yeah, that's sounding pretty good. And the thing is, it's, you're dealing with, like you said, this is a municipal election. Not only is it not on a presidential election day, it's not even on a midterm election day. It's not even in November. It's a special election that's happening in a really weird time where probably most of the people in your area don't even know that it's an election day. So what a great day for you to become an incumbent. This is incredible, man. Congratulations. Well, we don't know yet.
Thank you.
Prohibitively, we are. What is it? Vermin Supreme says we are cautiously. We used to say this all the time. We are cautiously. You tell us things. Tell us about what you're planning on doing if you get your election.
Sure. So the role of the city clerk isn't really a policy-based role. It's a lot more administrative. But one of the things that the clerk does is stamp off on permits that are issued by the city manager's office, affix the city seal to new ordinances that have been passed, and things like that. So we've had some issues in the past with a pretty distinct lack of transparency coming out of our city manager's office. A lot of people feel as though there really are still backroom dealings in, cigar-filled rooms for which property developers get which TIF grants, etc. And so I want to use the position to force as much transparency as possible in fiscal matters. And then secondarily, and possibly even more exciting, the clerk is the local election authority. And as clerk, I have the ability to go to the city council and present an alternative voting method for their consideration and adoption if they're willing to do so. So one of my main campaign planks was I would like to bring ranked choice voting to DeKalb so that we can then expand it to other cities in the state, expand it to the state as far as statewide elections go.
Right.
Go from there.
So just to be clear, it would have to be the city council would have to vote on whether to implement ranked choice, right? But you can present it.
Yes. Yeah, and
That's
I've
awesome.
I've already spoken to 3 of the 7 council members. Well, two for sure council members that will be in favor of it, and one more who's currently leading, but still too early to call, who will also be in favor. So I think it's looking fairly good in terms of being able to get the votes to actually make that happen.
That is awesome, man. Congratulations.
Congratulations. That is amazing. We obviously we're a very nonpartisan show. We like to show all sides of the argument. And we definitely don't favor any one candidate over another.
Oh God, no.
No.
Never.
Never.
How dare you?
I can't believe anybody would accuse us of such a thing. But we love watching. We love watching libertarians when, especially when we know them, and we've Spike's hung out with you. I haven't because I wasn't traveling around the country all last year, but libertarians who we know are good, good libertarians who are dedicated and who are strong libertarians, and granted only 86%. I don't remember what Caitlin last said. Only 86% of the vote is in. But I feel confident for you. I'm not 100% sure how many people are left to vote. So, but
I was going to say,
really confident for you, and that's amazing. That is great stuff.
Yeah. And we say that totally unbiased. I barely know you. We do not care about who wins at all. We're so nonpartisan that we actually are. Oh gosh, well, I'm not going to say that. But we definitely we are. We're not. Nope. But we are. We definitely don't have a pony in this fight. Oh, cautiously trepidatious is what Vermin says. So we are cautiously trepidatious that you will win this race. But so you're going to be able to bring some transparency to DeKalb, and you're going to be able to potentially introduce some election reforms and things like that, so that the people of DeKalb, and maybe even moving up into the county and the and eventually the state of Illinois, will have more voting choices. Now, you had a bit of an interesting turn of events towards the end of the election with sort of a surprise challenger. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I decided to run for clerk almost immediately after losing my county board race last year. I started the petitioning process, I think, within 2 weeks of the November election, which was a lot to jump right back in. But
yes.
What I did was I very, very quietly petitioned. I didn't make any public announcements. I didn't utilize my Facebook page from the last campaign to talk about it. And then 10 minutes before the filing window on the last day to file, I went in and I turned in my paperwork. So it looked like I was going to be completely unopposed. And then in mid-February of this year, we got a little surprise that there was going to be a write-in candidate who had filed, who actually is an administrative assistant in the city manager's office, which didn't quite sit right with me. The idea that the person whose sole role as an elected official is to be the backstop on malfeasance and errors by the city manager's office would be a directly reporting employee.
That would seem like a bit of conflict of interest there. Yeah.
That would seem like a Georgia governor's race.
Yeah, it was. It was concerning, and then I started to notice that some of the wealthier individuals in town including our own little homegrown political action committee, because a town of 50,000 people in the cornfields needs a PAC, were apparently deciding to back her because they had concerns about me being a divisive figure. I have a habit of going to city council meetings and really letting them know what's on my mind and what I think about the job that they're doing. And that didn't sit very well with some of the more establishment politicos in town. So sort of at the last second, today's April 6th, she declared in mid-February, I had a moment where I realized, oh, this is actually going to be a real...
It's an actual race,
a real fight. Yeah. So I brought in the best of the best. I grabbed Caitlin Cloven to be my campaign manager, and she did an absolutely incredible job, from designing beautiful pieces of literature, door hangers, postcards, palm cards, to helping set up and admin Facebook ads, to driving here physically from Ohio every weekend for the last 3 weeks before the election to knock on doors. And with her help and the help of other libertarians in my state and libertarians around the country that sent donations, sent other support, volunteered to make graphics, and some local alliances that I built, I was able to get it done.
That's amazing. Real quick, I'm gonna say some great things about Caitlin in a moment, but I just want to, before you get so big that people, are like, oh, he's the only S. Cohen libertarian that's ever been elected. I just want to make it clear that I knew Sasha long before any of y'all did. This is a photo of me with him, and Danny Malouf's there. Surprise cameo by Danny Malouf there in the burgundy suit there. It's just important because you're taking on the mantle of the most elected S. Cohen in the Libertarian Party, and that's important.
You are also the very first person to buy the Spike Cohen neck gaiter.
Oh, well, I had to have
Seen
that.
here. Yeah. I mean, you did. It goes with the hat, too. I mean, I just want to make it clear, in case people go, oh, you're not the S. Cohen people care about anymore, Spike. There's a new S. Cohen in town. I'm going to say, yeah, and he owns my merch. So, let's just be clear, folks.
It's okay. I can mail you some merch, Spike.
You know what? I would love. As I was saying that, I'm like, I'd like some merch though. So let's talk about Caitlin Cloven for a minute because she's fantastic.
She is.
What's that?
She's one of our admins.
Secret admins. Well, the thing is, in addition to holding my social media hostage, she is also involved in so many different campaigns like yours. And the fact that she's able to, like you said, actually drive every weekend to go and help knock on doors and help with your campaign, and simultaneously remotely helping other campaigns across the country. And again, holding me and my social media and my entire internet persona hostage against my very will on a daily basis, and holding that sword of Damocles over my head on a daily basis. Like it's incredible that she can be both so impactful and malicious and nefarious and malfeasant at the same time. It's incredible stuff.
It is.
So
I thought she was posting from your account one day, and there was a picture of, I think it was just a bunch of Democratic congressmen, and she goes, and it was like, who is this? Wrong answers only. And she goes, I'm pretty certain that this is Reliant K. And I messaged you on Facebook or on Twitter, and I was like, apparently Spike Cohen forgets that his co-host is friends with the lead singer of Reliant K. And she messaged me. She's like, oh my God, really? I was just trying to think of any white boy band.
How weird that my co-host would be dear friends with generic white boy band member.
Matt.
Is his name Matt?
His name is Matt, yeah.
Wow. That's incredibly white.
Yeah.
That's very white. So, Sasha, what, you're obviously well, we don't know for certain, but it's looking awful damn good for you. What are some of the first things that you want to do when you get in? Like and when do you swear, if you get elected, when do you swear in? Is that like in a few days, or how does that work?
So swearing in is at the first meeting following the certification of results. So depending on how quickly the county clerk processes, it will either be the fourth Monday of this month, so about 2 weeks out or 3 weeks out, or the second Monday of May. So
I love it.
I am going to take the next couple of days to set my phone down and ignore absolutely everything, and then immediately get to work.
That's a good
That
call.
is awesome. So, what's like one of the first things you want to do when you get in there? Just start opening the ledger so everyone can see what's going on?
Yeah, I think one of the first things that I want to do is I want to establish a direct method that residents can reach out to me to bring issues to the council. I know that there's a lot of residents in the city that have felt fairly unheard by their elected officials over the last few years, and if the aldermen aren't going to hold regular ward meetings to listen to concerns, then I'm going to maintain an open door policy at City Hall. And if a resident has a problem, they can come in, and I have the right to speak during the clerk's report every city council meeting, so I will relay those concerns. Then I want to start moving on to looking at the books and seeing what things are going on with permit processes.
This is incredible. I am so excited for you. This is so cool. We just had Cole Ebel, who is fighting a similar fight in Carthage, Tennessee. And he's in a position where a lot of stuff he wants to do can't get done because he's having to get a second or a vote from the other council members. You have a lot of authorities of things that you can do, and you don't have to get anyone's approval. You can just do it because that's your job as city clerk. So that's so cool that you got that you're getting that. Caitlin Chauvin has asked you to talk about your vacation and that she's so excited for you.
Oh, well, I have spent the last week in between knocking doors looking for cheap flights to literally anywhere because I need to go spend some time recuperating from back-to-back runs. And I think I found a cheap flight to Ecuador that leaves on Saturday, so I think I might jump out of the country for a couple of days and relax somewhere.
Nice. Typical politician fleeing to a tropical locale after getting elected makes me sick. No, you deserve it, man.
I was going to say, so very Ted Cruz of you.
It's very there isn't a storm coming to DeKalb or anything, is there? You don't want to mess up your political aspirations right off the bat.
Right.
Well, listen, man, we are so happy for you. It is incredible. Again, we're waiting, cautiously trepidatious. We are waiting to see what happens.
We've got some more results in.
Okay.
I'm looking at it now, and I'm at 1759 to 389.
So she's still in the threes.
Yeah, and that's with 51 out of 65 precincts countywide reporting. So I think we're
looking good.
Yeah, you're looking better than you were when you first started this program.
Yeah. And,
in fact, your gap is widening, right?
Yeah, it's 200 votes wider than it was last time. And now, unless we surpass last municipal elections total vote turnout by 10%, and 100% of the outstanding votes are write-in votes for my opponent, I've got it. So, awesome.
It's pretty cool. I mean, again, we do not, we do not want to say for certain.
We are very nonpartisan here.
We are not partisan, but it's looking good. I just want to wish you a hearty, objective, and nonpartisan, totally unbiased congratulations that I would absolutely give to just any person. Seriously, man, congratulations. I know you worked really, really hard for this, right off the heels of working really hard for another race. And you know, I don't know how you did it, because I was done with my race when it was over. I was ready to take some time off. So I think it's incredible that you got it.
Lucky, actually. This race, I got a much larger amount of local help, because I worked to build some alliances with some kind of surprising people. First off, I got the chair of the county Democratic Party to collect 120 of my 250 signatures that I needed.
Wow.
Along with sort of the Democratic slate for other offices. You know, they're all nonpartisan, but we know how it goes.
Right,
the
right.
Sort of run their people, and so they were immensely helpful. I helped petition for them a little bit. They helped petition for me, and then after that, I scored a really key endorsement, which was from the DeKalb chapter of the Sunrise Movement.
Can you tell us a little bit about the Sunrise Movement?
I was going to say, what's the Sunrise Movement?
So the Sunrise Movement is the fairly newly formed, they were formed in 2017, national organization dedicated to environmental justice, specifically passing the Green New Deal. Which is not a policy platform that I actually support. And
right.
I said as much in my endorsement questionnaire. You know, the second question was, do you support the Green New Deal? And you know, what part of it is most key? And I said, I don't support the Green New Deal because I'm an anarchist, and because I think that there are other ways that we can achieve what we need to do. I acknowledged the climate crisis. I acknowledge the fact that we need major solutions, you know, end to fossil fuels, relaxing zoning laws to allow co-ops, an end to U.S. imperialism, which is the biggest polluter in the world.
Yeah.
And it paid off. And, you know, I really want to thank you for that, because something that you said on one of these episodes a number of months ago really stuck with me. And you were talking about forming relationships around single issues with groups that aren't necessarily libertarian. And the way you put it was, people won't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yep.
And that has just sort of been guiding the way I interact with all these different advocacy and interest groups. And it has paid off.
It works.
Wonderfully. Yeah.
It works when you show people that you actually care about. And you even told them, I don't even support your preferred policy, but I care about what you care about, and here's how I think that should be handled. And meanwhile, you weren't running in a race where the Green New Deal would even come up. You're you know, in a city election as a city clerk. I mean, I guess you could introduce some things, but certainly nothing, you know, on a national level that they're proposing. But even still, you straight up went to them and said, I don't support what it is you want to do about this, but I recognize it's a problem, and here are my principled takes on what I think we should be doing about it. And they endorsed you because of that, man. That's how it works. This is the way. This is the way for libertarians to win.
According to Dan Lewis in the comments, the Northern Star is calling the race for you.
Yep, that's the college paper. I just got the notification too. Hell yeah, I guess that's it. They called it. Wow.
It's looking good. Wow.
That's amazing.
Congratulations. I want to tell you, I'm not going to lie, man. When it was announced that you were having a write-in challenger and that, you know, big money was coming behind them to help, and I thought, here we go. Here's that thing. And you still monkey stomped him. This is amazing, man. It's incredible. I cannot wait to watch you. But also, by the way, I'm going to be promoting the hell out of what you're doing there, exposing what's happening there. You know, it's just like what I've been doing with Cole and Trisha and Cassandra and Kalish and all the people that are getting elected across the country. Marshall Burt, you know, all these people that are getting elected across the country. You will definitely be one of the people I'm promoting when you're exposing what's happening. People need to see what's happening. We focus so much on the national, federal stuff or even the statewide stuff. But often some of the worst corruption and tyranny happens in city councils and county councils and local races with people that live like a few miles from us. And it's really going to be great to watch you do all that, man.
Well, thank you so much.
Well, folks, hey, thank you, Sasha. And
I was going to say, Sasha, is there anything that you want to? Is there any way that? I mean, you won.
You just won, so
yeah. I don't really know how to ask this question now. Normally, I'm like, where can they donate?
How can
to your
people help
campaign?
you?
But how,
you already won. How can people keep in touch with you and see and keep up with what you're doing besides following my social media, where I'll be sharing it? How can they keep in touch with you?
Sure. So I have a Facebook page, Sasha for DeKalb, which I suppose I should probably now transition to Sasha of DeKalb or something.
Sasha is DeKalb.
So that'll be the place where I really sort of centrally share what's going on. And obviously I'll be, sort of making the circuit around party conventions, and I'll be at a number of the state conventions over the next couple months to meet people and hopefully offer advice and help wherever it's needed, because I would like to see a lot more libertarian elected officials. I would like my race to be something that people at the national level go, okay, we have 10,000 municipal electeds. Who cares?
Exactly. Let's get thousands of libertarians elected across the country so that they can do the kind of stuff you're doing. And when people say, oh, libertarians can't win, yeah, we can. Oh, what are libertarians even doing? They're exposing the mess that Republicrats have created. Oh, I never hear from libertarians except during election day. No, or election year. No, the libertarians are across the country fixing the problems that the Republicans and Democrats created. I'm just so proud of you, man. This is fantastic. We love you here on Muddied Waters. Thank you. I'm so sorry that Caitlin has also been holding you hostage, but that now ends, hopefully. Thank you again. And folks, thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Muddy Waters of Freedom. Again, I will be at the shelter lock-in this weekend at the Humane Society in North Myrtle Beach. Next weekend, I will be in Wasilla, Alaska for the Libertarian Party of Alaska Convention and their Gold Rush event, where I'll be speaking. I'll be more on that soon over the next few days to talk about what I'll be doing there and how you can be involved. Matt, if someone were to try to find us... Oh, wait, that's not what we do on this show. I do have a show. It's called My Fellow Americans, and it's going to be tomorrow night. And my guest is going to be James M. Ray, who is an expert on nuclear energy, specifically thorium energy. He's actually the chair of the Libertarian Party Energy from Thorium Caucus, proving that there is a caucus in this party for literally everything, including waffles. Like we have so caucusified this party that there's one for there's a Libertarian Party smoked salmon caucus. After this episode, I will be forming the Libertarian Farm Jew caucus. So that's going to be a thing. But James M. Ray is going to be on tomorrow night. We're going to be talking about energy from thorium and how it can revolutionize energy in this country, completely eliminating or all but eliminating our carbon footprint, a much safer form of nuclear energy generation than the current ones that we're using, and why we aren't currently using it. Hint, it's because government sucks. And then you have an episode of your show on Thursday, don't you, Matt?
Yeah, but we should probably let Sasha get back to his party.
Oh, Sasha, I'm so sorry holding you up. Sasha, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Instead of listening to us,
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you so much. We love you, man. Talk to you soon.
Yep.
So, Matt. Hey.
So, on Thursday, I have Nicole Schultz, who is running for lieutenant governor of Pennsylvania.
Nice.
She will be on. We're going live about 8 o'clock. Muddied Waters 8.
Muddied Waters 8. A muddied 8.
A muddied 8.
That's awesome.
We're going live about 8 o'clock on Thursday with Nicole Schultz for the writer's block. And then next week, we will be right here.
Right back here.
Same muddied place.
Same muddied time.
And you know what? I might be able to tell you who we have on.
Yeah, thanks to Brian, we're so...
I know, Brian's great. And next week we will be on with Tim McMaster, who is running for Pennsylvania Senate District 48. We are covering Pennsylvania.
Listen, Pennsylvania is one of the most active states in getting libertarians elected. Thanks to the Moulton maneuver, they have something like 100 plus libertarian elected officials, and they add to that every single cycle. So, no, Pennsylvania's on it. If every state were firing on all cylinders like Pennsylvania was, we'd already have like a few thousand libertarians elected across the country.
We have Joe Solosky as
as a sponsor.
As a sponsor. We've got Nicole Schultz coming on to my show on Tuesday, and then we have Tim McMaster coming on next Tuesday. My show on Thursday, and then Tim McMaster next Tuesday.
It's an all Pennsylvania week of Muddlevania.
Fun fact, I have audio clips from Joe Solosky.
I love Joe. They're going to sound so good.
They do. They sound really good. I'm trying to decide which one we're using.
He's so good. That guy, when you hear him talk, you can tell that he's a CPA. It's like, why aren't you on radio right now? Why are you even on our show? Why aren't you on radio? No, he's fantastic. And what was I going to say? Oh, I'm going to be on Kennedy's podcast, Kennedy Saves the World. We're recording it Thursday afternoon. I don't know when her show airs, but when it does, I'll let everyone know. So if you enjoy me and Kennedy talking, we're going to do it for like a half hour. So that's pretty cool. Leilani
for Freedom tomorrow. I don't know.
Yes.
We're recording tomorrow. I don't know when she releases, but follow Leilani for Freedom on Anchor. And you can find my episode when it comes out. I don't know when that's going to be.
Yeah, and so Matt's going to be on Leilani for Freedom. I'm going to be on Kennedy Saves the World, and we will be. I will be on My Fellow Americans tomorrow night. Matt will be on the Writer's Block Thursday night, and then we will be right back here, same muddy place, same muddy time, for the Muddy Waters of Freedom, where Matt, Wright, and I parse through the week's events like the sweet little 2020 Wonder Boys that we are and always shall remain. Matt, if someone were to try to find us on this worldwide information superhighway web internet tubes that we have, is that even possible? And if so, how?
It would be possible. And if you're like Elizabeth Coquillard, who missed when your half-hour Kennedy talk is, you can find it by simply going to anchor.fm/muddiedwaters and listening to this episode. And while you're there, listen to the sweet, dulcet, sultry sounds.
Hi there.
Of our voices.
I love you.
We love all of you.
We love everyone.
We love all of you. Well, not equally.
Yes, we love some of you that give. We love them more.
Right. If you go to anchor.fm/muddiedwaters and donate
give us money,
we love you just a little bit more than everybody else.
It's directly proportionate to how much money you give us.
It's directly proportionate to how much money you give us. And while you're there, if you are one of the many, many, many people who happen to go to anchor.fm/muddied waters and thank you, J. Adam Weggs, for the donation.
Thank you, J. Adam Weggs.
Thank you, J. Adam Weggs. If you go to there and why did you log me out? I'm just there it is. Okay.
I didn't log you out. I didn't do anything.
Not you. Oh, okay. I'm talking to the computer.
Oh,
you would also have moments where we would do things like say thank you to Justin Mickelson, Jack Casey. Oh, Jack Casey, he's a MeWe guy. Zachary Martin, Josh McHose, Kenneth Ebel, James E. Lee, Dan Faust, Jennifer Morrison, personal injury attorney Chris Reynolds, attorney at law, Jeff DuBois, Andrea O'Donnell.
Jeff DuBois.
Kenneth Ebel. DuBois. Kenneth Ebel is donating twice. Wow. I'm not telling him. Hopefully he's listening and he learns that.
Yeah, hopefully you know that you're donating twice. Thank you, Kenneth.
Thank you, Kenneth Ebel. And Billy Pierce.
So much. Billy Pierce. Billy Pierce for Texas. I love Billy. Billy, run for something else so I can campaign for you again. You're fantastic.
You're wonderful, Billy. You are one of my favorite. Anchor.fm/muddied waters. Personal injury attorney law, anchor call-in moment, callers.
Yes, we like your calls too. Keep calling us, Billy. Thank you so much.
Or you can find this and every other episode at muddiedwatersmedia.com.
muddywatersmedia.com, the place to tune in for all the cool kids who are into liberty on weekday evenings.
Yes.
Folks, thanks again so much for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow night right here at My Fellow Americans, Thursday for the Writer's Block, and then again on Tuesday for the Muddy Waters of Freedom. We love you very much. We cannot wait to see you again. Thanks so much for tuning in. And where we're going,
we don't need roads.
We should go back to a position in the filibuster that existed just when I came to the United States Senate 120 years ago. So the best way to get something done, if you hold near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway, I want to get things done. I want to get them done. The best way to get something done, if you hold near and dear to you that you, anyway, I want to get things done. To be able to, I want to get them done. The best way to get something done, if you hold near and dear to you that you, anyway. I have never been particularly poor at calculating how to get things done. People's lives are changing, so let's see what happens. All I know, I've been hired to solve problems. What we do, there's no easy answer. I don't even think about it. I have no idea. Oh, come on, I don't know. To be clear, what are we doing? And by the way, here's the deal. If you like to be able to, well, I'm good. Look. Anyway, I want to get things done. I want to get them done. The best way to get something done, if you hold near and dear to you that you, anyway, I want to get things done. To be able to, I want to get them done. The best way to get something done, if you hold near and dear to you that you, anyway. I don't know where you guys come from, man. I've never been able to plan 3.5 years ahead. And here's the deal. Help is here and hope is on the way. Well, look, I guess I should be flattered. People are coming because I'm the nice guy. And I'd like to think it's because I'm a nice guy, but it's not. It's because of what's happened every year. Let me say one other thing on this. Okay, where am I here? Let me see. Anyway, I want to get things done. I want to get them done. The best way to get something done, if you hold near and dear to you that you, anyway, I want to get things done. To be able to, I want to get them done. The best way to get something done, if you hold